Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and welcome the Attorney General of the United States and the official party to the stage.
Well, welcome everyone. This is a great crowd this morning. I really appreciate you coming out to the Great Hall of the Department of Justice for the 6th Annual Department of Justice Veterans Appreciation Ceremony. I'm Lee Loftus. I'm the Assistant Attorney General for Administration, and I really am honored to be with you this morning as we recognize our country's veterans, and in particularly the veterans who are an important part of the Department of Justice family here at DOJ. Before we begin this morning's program, please join me in welcoming on the stage Attorney General Loretta Lynch and our keynote speaker, Lieutenant General N.Y. West, the 44th Surgeon General of the United States Army and Commanding General, U.S. Army Medical Command. Thank you very much for being with us this morning. It's wonderful to have you on stage. The Attorney General's schedule does not permit her to stay with us the entire ceremony, but she is going to present remarks this morning. And again, it's just a real treat to have everybody here in the Great Hall and to be joined by people who are watching around the country on the Justice Television Network. At this time, please remain standing for the presentation of the colors by the Joint Armed Forces Color Guard and the playing of the national anthem by the United States Army Brass Quintet. Please be seated, everyone. And please join me in expressing our appreciation to the Color Guard and to the Brass Quintet. As we honor our country's veterans, it's a real privilege to be able to be up here on stage this morning and stand before a select group of Department of Justice employees who have served the cause of justice around the country and around the globe. By serving in the armed services, you have answered the highest calling of our citizenship. On the way to work this morning, I've been listening to an audio book in my car, the part of the long commute syndrome, I guess, but it's ideal to listen to books on the way into work. And I've been listening to a book called Roosevelt and His Centurions. And it's about FDR and the military leaders in World War II and how they crafted the decisions that shaped the war and shaped the Allied victory in World War II. And one of the stories that was particularly poignant for me was a story about Eisenhower. And in the 1930s, Eisenhower had been stationed at one point in the Philippines with MacArthur. And the Philippines actually offered Eisenhower an appointment to be a military advisor of some sort in the Philippines. The head of the Philippines at the time really wanted that kind of expertise, and they were facing other aggression and risk in the Pacific area, and they wanted to keep Eisenhower there and not have Eisenhower return to the United States. And they offered Eisenhower 10 times his military salary to resign from the United States military and stay there as an advisor in the Philippines. And Eisenhower wouldn't do it. He said no. He said that when he took his oath at West Point to serve the United States, that was an oath he would keep his entire life. And he told him no. And I just thought that was just a fantastic story and something fitting for our ceremony this morning because of the service all of you veterans have shown our nation. And I just want to tell you it counts for something, and I really appreciate it. To recognize your time in the military, we've asked the Brass Quintet again to perform a special musical tribute, and if veterans would rise and remain standing when you hear your military service song, I think that would be a great way to start the ceremony. So, here you go. That was great by our musicians again. Yes, thank you very much. On Veterans Day each year, the United States honors the service and sacrifice of over 21 million American veterans who throughout the years have guaranteed our freedom and kept America safe and secure. The Department of Justice is honored to commemorate the service and leadership of all veterans this year with a focus on the service and leadership of women and minorities in the armed forces. We at the Department of Justice understand that it's smart business to hire veterans, and that when members of the Guard and Reserves deploy, that it's our responsibility to ensure that their jobs do not suffer. Veterans are a vital piece of our law enforcement mission. The training and education veterans have received during their military duty is highly valued here at the department, and especially by our law enforcement bureaus. We thank each of you for your service, and we honor you today with this special recognition ceremony. One individual who has displayed a real commitment to veterans' issues by safeguarding the rights of active duty service personnel, reservists, and veterans is our host for today's event. And at this time, it's my honor to introduce our Attorney General, Loretta Lynch. Loretta Lynch was sworn in by Vice President Biden on April 27, 2015. AG Lynch is truly one of the justice family, beginning as a prosecutor of violent crimes, public corruption, and civil rights violations in the Eastern District of New York, and ultimately becoming an appointed United States attorney, not once, but twice by two different presidents. Between those appointments, she did pro bono work to help prosecute those responsible for the 1994 Rwandan genocide. I've been able to work firsthand, and have been very fortunate to work firsthand with someone dedicated to this institution of justice and dedicated to this country. Please welcome our Attorney General, Loretta Lynch.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here today. And of course, we are here at DOJ Veterans Appreciation Day. But before we begin the morning program, let me take a moment to address yet another series of senseless attacks that have claimed the lives of two police officers early this morning in Des Moines, Iowa. Now, a suspect is in custody, and the Department of Justice has offered any and all assistance to our state and local counterparts as they investigate these appalling attacks. We will continue to monitor this situation, and our U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of Iowa will remain in regular contact with local authorities. But the reality is, my friends, violence has no place in the United States of America. It degrades our communities. It demeans our values. And when that violence is coldly and deliberately directed at those who risk their lives to enforce the law and to keep us safe, it is especially intolerable. This tragic incident is yet another reminder of the tremendous dangers that law enforcement officers face each and every day. Now, the men and women in law enforcement deserve our gratitude and our respect, but more than that, they deserve our support. And that's why the Department of Justice is committed to doing everything we can to give police officers the tools, the training, and the equipment they need to do their jobs safely and effectively. And we are determined to hold to account anyone who targets police officers simply because they have the courage and the selflessness to wear that badge each and every day. Now, I know that this is a time of particular tension and mistrust between law enforcement and many communities. And I know that while we do not yet know what led the perpetrator to commit these awful crimes, many will nevertheless be tempted to read a message or a motive into this assault. But let me be clear, there is no message in murder. Violence creates nothing. It only destroys. And the path to the more just and peaceful society that we desire and that we deserve for ourselves and our children is paved not with hatred and malice, but with compassion and understanding, and with the hard work of cooperation. And I ask that you let those be our watchwords in the days to come. I also ask that you keep the families and the loved ones of the two brave officers we lost this morning in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you so much for that. Now, turning to today's ceremony, let me thank so many people who worked so hard to make this a reality. Lee Loftus, thank you for that introduction, but also for your leadership of the Justice Management Division in this Department of Justice. Each and every day, you and an outstanding team of professionals work tirelessly to ensure that our department has the resources it needs to serve the American people. And I thank all of you for organizing this important ceremony. But let me also thank Bill Baer, our Principal Deputy Associate Attorney General, for all of his efforts and that of his office on behalf of veterans and service members. And can we again thank our Joint Armed Forces Color Guard from the Military District of Washington for presenting our colors, and the U.S. Army Brass Quintet for that stirring rendition of not only the national anthem, but the service member songs as well. And let me just say, it was such a thrill to be here on stage and watch all of you stand as your anthems were played. But I noticed something. You were singing along very quietly. Next time, I want to hear it, okay? I want to hear it. We are so proud of what you've done and what you represent. So next time, I want to hear you sing out, everybody. It's such a pleasure to be here. And it's a real privilege to be here also as we join together, as we come together as a Department of Justice family, as we often do, to honor and pay tribute to the more than 28,000 veterans who serve in the Department of Justice. 28,000 veterans. That's a little over a quarter of our entire workforce. You know the meaning of service. In a department that's characterized by public service, our veterans embody that ideal every day. And of course, next week we continue our celebration with Veterans Day, a special day in our nation and for so many of our military families. We are a nation forged in battle, but constantly striving for peace. And we have at times taken that battle to distant shores in the name of our own cherished ideals. And when we do that, when we do travel to help others, we often send the flower of our youth to right the wrongs of the world. And I can tell you that I still remember vividly as a young girl, my cousins and my uncle going off to Vietnam. That was the war of my time, of my childhood. But it was a place that had no meaning for me until it reached into my world and just took them away. And I remember also, the night before they all left, my father had a prayer service for them in our living room. Small, it was family. And I will tell you that that's when the enormity of what they were doing hit me. It did. The fact that we could lose them was brought home to me for the first time ever. I'd heard about enlistment, I'd heard about basic training, all these things that you hear about as a child, and you just think of it as something your older siblings or cousins are going through. But this was the first time that I ever really knew someone who was actually prepared to die for an ideal, for someone else's freedom. And over the years, I've watched as other family members, including my own older brother, made the choice to serve this country in our military forces. And I will tell you, it's an example that has stayed with me throughout my service in this Department of Justice. And so today, I am particularly honored, and I am incredibly proud to be able to join with all of you to celebrate our nation's veterans, and most importantly, to honor those of you, our own Department of Justice family members who have also served. Today's ceremony gives us the opportunity to say what you so rarely hear, to say thank you to an outstanding group, to thank you for your courage, for your commitment, to thank you for the inspiring service you provide to this department and to our nation. We are so grateful for your service and your sacrifice. But that gratitude means that we owe it to you to ensure that we honor that service, not just with our words, but also with our deeds. And that's why in 2009, President Obama established the Veterans Employment Initiative to help our men and women in uniform find employment with the federal government when they return to civilian life. And here at DOJ, we've made hiring of veterans a priority. We were among the first agencies to create a Veterans Employment Office, and that's housed in JMD with Lee and his outstanding team. And today, this department remains committed to answering the President's call to help put veterans to work in communities across our country. As part of that effort, our Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services, our COPS office, the COPS office hiring program, gives preferential funding to state and local law enforcement agencies that commit to hiring or rehiring at least one military veteran. Now, of course, there's so many more issues that our veterans face, and so we are working tirelessly to ensure that our veterans and our service members enjoy the rights and the protections that they have given up so much to uphold. And under the leadership of the President's Financial Fraud Enforcement Task Force, we continue to aggressively confront the consumer fraud schemes that target service members, including our active duty, National Guardsmen, and our veterans. Our Civil Rights Division has also worked diligently to help service members recover funds from unlawful foreclosures that have forced hundreds of service members literally out of their homes. And through settlements with 5 of the nation's largest mortgage services, 2,400 service members were eligible to receive over $311 million of foreclosure-related compensation. These are foreclosures that should never have happened or were done improperly, and we were able to reach in and provide assistance. And nearly 78,000 service members have begun receiving compensation under our $60 million settlement with Sallie Mae for overcharging on student loans. Now finally, as Americans begin voting this election season, the Civil Rights Division stands ready to ensure that every eligible service member can cast his or her ballot by enforcing the Uniformed and Overseas Citizen Absentee Voting Act of 1986. Because those who are protecting our democracy overseas should have every opportunity to participate in that democracy here at home. Now, as we carry this important work into the future, we're always seeking new ways to support those who've sacrificed so much. And so today, I'm tremendously proud to announce the creation of the Service Member Civil Relief Act Enforcement Support Pilot Program. And this is an important effort coordinated by this department's Service Members and Veterans Initiative that will enhance our enforcement efforts under the particular statute, the Service Member Civil Relief Act. And through this pilot program, we will increase the number of attorneys who are working full-time to bring cases against companies and individuals who unlawfully target service members and their families. And we will also be cross-designating several judge advocate officers, or JAG officers, to serve as special assistant U.S. attorneys to support these enforcement efforts. This is tremendously important work, and I couldn't be prouder of the men and women who've made it a reality. But one of the most important things we can do with initiatives like this is to ensure that the work lives on beyond the stewards of today. And therefore, I am also proud to announce that going forward, the Service Members and Veterans Initiative will have a permanent home within the Office of the Associate Attorney General. And also, every U.S. Attorney's Office, 93 offices, will designate an AUSA as a liaison to this initiative. Now, the Service Members and Veterans Initiative has already coordinated with department components and other federal agencies. Its aim is to build a network of support for service members, for veterans, and their families. This is vital work, and by making it a permanent component of the department, we're ensuring that they will continue to benefit from that network for years to come. And it's just one way that the Department of Justice is determined to do everything we can to serve and to protect all of you, the men and women who served and protected us. So let me say once again, thank you for your service, for all you've done for the Department of Justice, for the United States, and for the cause of freedom everywhere. And it is now my signal honor to introduce today's distinguished guest speaker. I am so proud to have this speaker with us today because she embodies the tradition of service that we are honoring with our initiative, Lieutenant General N.Y. West. General West is the 44th Surgeon General of the United States Army, and she's the Commanding General of the U.S. Army Medical Command. She's a native of Washington, D.C., and she has served our nation with distinction and with honor. As a young medical resident, she served our nation overseas in Operation Desert Shield and Operation Desert Storm during the First Gulf War. And later she deployed to the Republic of Macedonia and Kosovo as a Deputy Task Force Surgeon. She is the Army's first African-American Surgeon General and the first female African-American Lieutenant General. And she has achieved the highest rank of any woman graduate of the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. Now, I could list her honors and acclaims for much longer, and she has earned every single one of them. But what's most telling to me is that, like all great leaders, she considers herself first and foremost a servant leader, one who works for the people under her command. She is truly a leader for our time, and it is our privilege and our honor to have her with us today. And ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you join me in welcoming, as only DOJ can, our honored guest, Lieutenant General N.Y. West.
Very, very kind introduction, and what an honor to be here today. I tell you, I know the color guard and the quintet had to leave, but wasn't that awesome? I mean, just to see those flags and the colors and to hear that music. So let's give them a round of applause in absentia. Thanks. I tell you, Mr. Loftus, again, it's an honor being here, and I know Madam Attorney General Lynch had to leave, but what an honor to be able to share the stage with her. She is absolutely phenomenal, and so it's kind of starstruck just being able to sit next to her. I kept looking over there, and I hope she didn't think I was weird, but what an honor to actually be here today, and also to participate in your ceremony. I mean, it was really, when my staff told me I was asked to participate here, I was like, wow, really? I get to do that? And so thank you so much for the invitation to spend some time with you today. Veterans Day has a really special meaning for me, and not just because of my own experience of service, but what I know and I've seen that our veterans have done and what they continue to do for our nation. And also it hits kind of close to home because it's also I have a family of history of service. And not just Army, because I like seeing all the folks standing up, so I've got a joint family as well. I was previously the Joint Staff Surgeon, so I've got a joint staff family as well. So my father enlisted in the Army as a private in 1939 and rose to the rank of Chief Warrant Officer 4 when he retired after a 33-year career. An interesting point is, you know, he enlisted in a segregated Army, but he retired in an Army and a military that was more diverse than any organization in America. And he stayed, because you might wonder, wow, you know, what did he go through during that time? But talking to him, he stayed because he saw his Army as a way forward and as a way to improve what's going on in our society at the time. And so he was very proud to wear his uniform. And although she did not wear a uniform, my mother was by his side every step of the way. As the wife of a soldier and the mother of 12 adopted children, she served as any other military spouse serves. She not only supported my father's career and our own family, but she also worked tirelessly for change herself. She used to work for what was called the War Department, so you know how long ago that was. The Department of Defense used to be the War Department. So she worked at the War Department, and she was also a journalist with the Afro-American newspaper, which is still around today. It was based in Baltimore. And she was instrumental in ensuring the integration of Arlington National Cemetery. Yes, by her tireless efforts in advocating for change, people of color were allowed to be buried anywhere in our most sacred ground, and not just in a separate section as it was previously. And of note, both of my parents are laid to rest not too far from the eternal flame of the gravesite of our President Kennedy. And so we have come a long way in that. And as I mentioned, 9 of my brothers and sisters also served in various branches of the military. All of my brothers were in the Army. I have one brother that retired as a command sergeant major who was in Air Defense Artillery. For some of you who might remember the Nike Hercules, I always get those mixed up, that's how long ago he was in. When I tell the young people today, they're like, what's that? Superheroes? What was that? So he was a command sergeant major, and I remember that my earliest memories when I was in kindergarten, he walked me to school one day and he had his uniform on. I remember how proud I was, to show off my big brother to my classmates in kindergarten. I have one sister that was a retired Master Chief Petty Officer. Where are my shipmates out there? All right, my Navy hua, okay. And she was an Airedale, spent some time on the seas out there, a quality control officer on the Nimitz at one point. And those of you that know Master Chief Petty Officers, they're pretty bad, aren't they? So my sister always reminds me of that, especially during Army-Navy Week, which is coming up here soon. Hopefully we can do better. And she stayed in for 31 years. And I also had a sister that retired from the Air Force, and she was actually a paralegal, and spent a 20-year career in the Air Force. And then various other times. And actually, Marines, I didn't leave you out. My niece was actually, she was a Navy corpsman, but she served with the Marines. And so I actually have Marine representation in my family as well. And each one of us, again, 10 out of 12 of us decided to join the military, not because of any family pressure, but because we each made our individual decision to give back to our nation. Because our parents set that quiet example for all of us to live by. And given the experiences that my dad had, I just couldn't wait to serve. I'm the youngest of the 12, and I couldn't wait to my turn to join up and serve our nation as well. In fact, I can tell you I wouldn't be standing here today if it was not for the sense of selfless service that our parents instilled in us, instilled in me by the example. And in my years in the Army, starting as a plebe at West Point until my current position today, I see the military and our veterans who have served as extensions of my family. You're all family. And I think all of you who have served know that. We're all one big family. It doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing. You can see someone that was prior service and just fall into a conversation. I remember when I was a kid, I would be at the commissary with my dad, and I always remembered saying, oh my goodness, he would run into so-and-so, hey, so-and-so, that was back in 1954, weren't we back here? And so I remember I said, Dad, get the ice cream last because it'll melt by the time we get out of here, because you run into someone every aisle. And lo and behold, I was in the commissary when we were stationed in Mannheim, Germany, and I have little ones, and my kids were, I'd run into someone, it's like, yeah, 1st Armored Division, yeah, and my kids were like, Mom, and I was thinking, okay, it's come full circle. I'm like my dad, but that's what it's about. We're all family as veterans, and so that's why I see all of you here today, and all of us are extensions of my family, and the big military family. And so each Veterans Day, I take a moment to pause and reflect on my service and that sense of family. And I'm reminded of several battlefields and cemeteries that I visited, either on staff rides when I was stationed in Germany, or places that I visited, or the opportunities I'd had to give speeches at the Memorial Day ceremonies in our overseas cemeteries. Places like Verdun, Sicily, Normandy, the Hurtgen Forest, at Somme, in Busan. When I walk those grounds and I actually go to these places that I read about in history books, it just reminds me of all of our veterans, everyone who had given their lives and are still there on our foreign shores, or those that were injured and came back and had challenges returning home, or those that made it seemingly unscathed, but did bring some back memories and things that they've been dealing with for the rest of their lives from some of those places. And so it really makes me, days like this really make me reflect on those, not only recently, but years gone by. And so each day, Veterans Day, we are remembering the moment when the guns of World War I went silent. The 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. And we recognize the service and sacrifice that each one of you and each one of all of our veterans around the nation who served either in peacetime, in war, or some combination of the two, We just remember you on these days, as we should every single day of the year. And so I would like to pause here as Madam Attorney General Lynch did, just to take a moment to thank each one of you specifically. The almost 30,000, that's a fantastic number when she said that, 28,000 veterans who are part of the Department of Justice. So you have continued to serve, each one of you. You've continued to serve our nation after your service in the military, and I thank you for that. And first, I'm going to stop and give a round of applause, and you guys applaud for yourself as well. Thank you. And it's because of veterans like you here at the Department of Justice that our nation continues to remain strong, because you took the skills and the fortitude, the resilience, everything that you brought from your military service, and you bring it to your jobs here every day and benefit not only your fellow veterans, but your fellow co-workers and colleagues who may not have had military service. You're bringing that message to them and the culture of the military so they can learn about and understand what our veterans bring, not only to the military but to our nation. And you know, Veterans Day again is a time to think about our heroes from all the different conflicts, wars over the year, but also to pray that no heroes will ever have to die again for us. It's a day to say thanks for the valor of others, a day to remember the splendor of America and those of her citizens who rest in eternal peace across our nation and the world. And it's most appropriately a day of remembrance. As George Washington is reported to have said, and I quote, "The willingness with which our young people are likely to serve in any war, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportional to how they perceive veterans of earlier wars were treated and appreciated by our nation." This is more true now, after a decade and a half of constant conflict, than it has ever been. To all of our veterans here today and to the veterans across our nation, whether you've served on the beaches of Europe, in the jungles of Asia, on the deserts of the Middle East, or served here at home, or other places overseas, whether you proudly serve in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, you're part of our unbroken chain of patriots who have served our nation with honor. And there's no mystery behind the endurance of the success of American liberty. It's because every generation that we've had here, Americans have stepped forward to serve honorably in the armed forces of the United States. Every single one of them deserves the thanks and the admiration of our entire nation. The oath we take when we answer the call is special. It's an oath to, as Madam Attorney General Lynch mentioned, it's an oath to an idea. It's not an oath to a king or a queen or even a country. It's a set of principles that we take an oath to as service members. The ideas embodied in the Constitution in the United States, that's what we fight for. This makes our veterans unique in the annals of history. They swore to uphold and defend the very idea of liberty, and that to me is the highest definition of honorable. Military service in the United States is a legacy to be proud of, and to those who contribute to it must never be taken for granted. To honor our veterans, we must keep faith with them. We must continue to care for those who have been injured in the service of our country, and we must honor and remember those who have died. And we must also remember those whose fate is still undetermined. And we fly the prisoner of war flag on Veterans Day for a reason. Our nation will not rest until we have accounted for every last one of our missing Americans. And so please, let's take a moment of silence to remember those that we're still unsure of their fate. Thank you. But today's not just about our past, but also about the present and the future. Today, approximately 14.6% of those wearing the uniform are women. That's more than 200,000 daughters, mothers, wives, and sisters proudly serving our nation. Before 1967, federal law allowed no more than 2% of the military to be comprised of women, and they were extremely limited in the career fields that were open to them. And I had the opportunity to talk to some of you, before the meeting, and just to hear some of your occupational specialties. It was really great to hear some of the areas that you served in. But today, we've got women serving in occupational specialties that would have never been heard of 30 years ago, as combat infantry, pilots, combat medics, engineers, military police, and the whole gamut. Special forces, we're getting some women in those units as well. Women are supporting the freedoms that we all hold dear, and they are doing it well, serving shoulder to shoulder with their male counterparts. We have come a long way, and we are continuing to go even farther. And also today, approximately 31% of those who are on active duty are considered to be part of an ethnic minority group. Like I mentioned, my father, who enlisted in a segregated army, would be extremely proud and not surprised at all, as he saw his army as a catalyst for change and a catalyst for good, which is why he served for 33 years. Our military today stands as the most powerful and effective military in recorded history. And again, there's no mystery to the reason why that this is. Our strength is a direct reflection of our diverse people. And I look out on our audience today, and that's you are emblematic of the diversity of our military and of our nation, and our willingness to defend the ideas that make up the very fabric of our nation. Again, the U.S. military is one of the most diverse organizations on the planet, and it derives its strength not only from our weapon systems or platforms, but from our people, which is you here represented today. Those who have chosen to serve for one enlistment or an entire career. You are all part of that fabric. And once they transition from soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, or Coast Guardsman to veteran, they bring the strength like you have, the 30,000 of you here at the Department of Justice. So there are approximately 22 million veterans in the U.S. today. And to each one of those 22 million veterans in the U.S. and for you here today and those that you represent all throughout the Department of Justice, I would like to extend my thank you for all that you have done and all that you continue to do in support of the greatest nation on earth. We may have our differences, and we may not always see eye to eye. We also have those friendly rivalries between services. But as a family and as a nation, we are grounded in the ideas that those who have ever served and swore to defend, that we would always keep faith. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what service means to me. So may God bless our veterans, and may God bless our nation, and God bless each and every one of you, and thank you for your very kind attention. Go Army!
Well, I was going to say, please stand and give a hand to Lieutenant General West, and you were way ahead of me, and I think that was right on. General West, wonderful remarks, just very impressive remarks, and boy, what an interesting and impressive family. So thank you for sharing that with us. So wonderful remarks from General West this morning. Thank you also to the Attorney General for her remarks. It was wonderful to have the AG to be able to join us despite the schedule and the happenings of the morning, the serious happenings of the morning. I'd also like to echo the AG's remarks and thank Bill Baer, our Associate Attorney General, for being here today. And I see a couple of his staff members, Silas and John, are here, and the fact that the Service Members Initiative has not only been established in the Associate's office, but it's really been pushed by Bill and his staff members because of the importance of protecting the rights of service members. So I think that's a real achievement of the Associate's office, and thank you, gentlemen, for all of that work. With the many challenges we face today, let us pause for a moment and take time to recognize the men and women of the armed services who are currently on active duty and unable to be with us today, and also a moment of silence for the veterans who are no longer with us. Thank you, everybody. In closing, again, wonderful speaker today, General West. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you for your service to the country and to the department, for the folks who work here at the department. And let me also thank the event staff, Glenn, Cortez, Mary, the rest of the HR staff, the facility staff who helped put this event on this morning. And most of all, everybody who came out, all you veterans, thank you very much for your service, and thank you for making this a wonderful ceremony this morning. Thanks, everybody.